We're continuing our coverage of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's roadshow in his constituency, this election's Varanasi. It's a roadshow stretching over 7 kilometers. On your screens now are the results from the previous elections, the 2014 general elections, and the vote share percentage in which Narendra Modi had secured over 56% of the votes, while Arvind Kejriwal got about 20%, and Ajay Rai of the Congress Party got a little over 7%. Keep in mind, Ajay Rai of the Congress Party will be facing PM Modi in Varanasi on behalf of the Congress Party, beating all speculations that maybe, just maybe, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra of the Congress Party could be standing from the Varanasi seat. Those speculations have been put to rest today. The Congress Party choosing not to field Priyanka Gandhi Vadra against PM Modi, choosing instead Gopal Rai. And Modi is set to participate in a Ganga Aarti this evening. This evening, as his roadshow has got a rousing welcome from the people of Varanasi. Live visuals on the screens of the streets of Varanasi, which are showing a sea of humanity. Keep in mind, PM Modi will be filing his nomination tomorrow from the Varanasi Lok Sabha constituency. A lot of BJP bigwigs are attending this event. A lot of state chief ministers and union ministers. Over 100 welcome points have been put across the stretch of this roadshow. And PM Modi will be performing the Ganga Aarti at the Dashashwamedh Ghat. It's a prestige battle for the Prime Minister here in Varanasi, where he is expected to win. But then again, Varanasi will vote in the last phase of the elections on the 19th of May. Nitin Gadkari, Sushma Swaraj, Piyush Goyal, all the top union ministers of the Indian central government set to participate in this roadshow. Heavy security cover for the Prime Minister. We have R.K. Upadhyay, senior journalist, joining us from Bengaluru on this podcast. Mr. R.K. Upadhyay, PM Modi's roadshow getting a rousing response from the people of Varanasi. Congress Party choosing to field, or rather choosing not to field, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Varanasi at this stage seems rather certain for PM Modi.
Well, I think it couldn't have been anything better than what has been done. It's a spectacular show, and the Prime Minister knows, how to get good coverage. And, for the last 3 hours, he has all the channels beaming the event from Varanasi, and it will probably go on till the Maharati and the Ganga banks. I mean, look at the Congress. I mean, they said, Priyanka Vadra will be contesting against Narendra Modi. They kept this buzz going for about a week or 10 days. But yesterday they just gave it up and they said, no, she's not going to contest. But I thought, they should at least put her up, and she should have contested against Modi and, taken him on in his own den. Even if she got about 2-3 lakh votes, that's fine. But they should have shown the gumption to take on the Prime Minister. By just buckling under the pressure and not putting her up, it really puts them in bad light.
Right, and you're talking about a constituency where PM Modi swept in the previous elections, and choosing to stand again from the constituency, and this decision was taken irrespective of what the Congress or any other party chose to do.
Precisely. I think he's very confident about re-election, and in the last 5 years he has done tremendous amount of work in the constituency. Look at the roads. I've been to Varanasi a few years ago, and I saw what a mess it was. But now look at the kind of reports that are coming in, and you see the highway they built, 17-kilometer highway to the airport, and the massive reconstruction work that has gone around in the entire city. The traditional, the way of putting up this thing, and are the guards. They've improved the guards which were in very bad state. Of course, there's a lot of more work to be done. The old city is still in bad shape. There are very narrow lanes. The area around Kashi Vishwanath Temple is in very sorry state. They all need to be done. But the kind of beginning that he has made, I think people of Varanasi are extremely happy. Naturally, they would like to elect him again because they want more. They want more of the development. And, in comparison, you look at what has happened in Amethi or Rai Bareli, which have been the bastions of the Gandhi family. They haven't been able to do anything in their constituencies. So this contrast in development, is going to be something that people will look at. And Rahul Gandhi probably knows that it's not going to be easy this time, and that's why he has chosen another constituency, and he's gone to why not? This gives a very bad, signal to the Congress workers themselves that our own leader is not, confident of winning from his Amethi constituency, and he's chosen a second constituency. So this is the kind of contrast that there is there between BJP and the Congress, just before the election. And we just had 3 rounds of election and 4 more important rounds to go. Majority of them in the UP. UP is one area where I think is a big challenge for BJP, that SP and BSP have come together, and last time they had 73 seats out of 80. So when these two have come together, it looked like that BJP might end up losing about 50 seats. But in the last couple of months, the situation has changed. It looks, from all reports, it looks that it's not so bad. They may end up losing about 30 seats. But even then, they're pushing hard, to ensure that the people of Uttar Pradesh think that, this is a place where, Prime Minister is going to come from, and you need to support him. So today's show is all about telling Uttar Pradesh that Mr. Narendra Modi represents Uttar Pradesh, and if you want the development of Uttar Pradesh, you need to back him, in a massive way. So this is a message being sent across Uttar Pradesh. It's not just for Varanasi.
Right. And in that context, I have to say, look at the timing of the events, Mr. Upadhyay. You had the Prime Minister, doing this offbeat, non-political interview that got a lot of eyeballs just yesterday. And today is this massive roadshow, because this time around it's a personal battle. It's Varanasi that we are talking about over here. And tomorrow is the filing of the nomination.
Absolutely. I mean, I watched that interview which Akshay Kumar conducted, and for about 1 hour he speaks about things that other than politics. As a PR exercise, it couldn't have been anything better. Here is a man who comes from very, very humble background, and his interests are, very, very normal, like a very normal human being. And, the kind of pious life he has led, and the poverty from which he comes, all this are very appealing to the common voters. And, putting out this in the middle of the campaign, the Congress also should have thought of something like this about their own leaders. So I'm sure all this has been planned very, very meticulously. Because even the film that was supposed to be shown, Oberoi made, probably was also aimed at this kind of thing. Unfortunately, the Election Commission has not allowed it. I believe it's in the right sense, because you can't have too much of publicity for one man. But look at the way he's
Mr. Upadhyay, some say that film could even hurt PM Modi's prospects if it releases.
Yeah. So now that the Election Commission has put a hold on it, saying that it will not be aired until 23rd, maybe it is good for him. But look at the kind of interview that Akshay Kumar did, and these are the kind of things that will show the man in his all-round capacity, and which the Congress also, or even other senior leaders like Mayawati or Mamata Banerjee should have done. But they don't see how to exploit the media. which Mr. Narendra Modi has, expertly done.
Right, R.K. Upadhyay, senior journalist, joining us from Bengaluru on this broadcast, even as they continue to bring you live visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's roadshow in his constituency, Varanasi, a day ahead of him filing his nomination for the Lok Sabha elections from Varanasi. Lakhs of people gathering on the streets of Varanasi. A 7-kilometer long stretch, this roadshow, that will culminate in a arti being performed, a religious ritual being performed by the Prime Minister at the Dashashwamedh Ghat. And we continue to stay with this. It's an important moment, Mr. R.K. Upadhyay, in this entire election season. This is a show of strength from the point of view of Modi, the personality.
Absolutely, absolutely. And from 2014, you see, in 2014 he was just a candidate. Just a candidate who was projected by his party as a prime ministerial candidate. But now he's going there out as a prime minister who's ruled this country for 5 years, and to some extent he has shown what he's capable of. You see, not all of his projects would have taken off, or have seen the completion. There are many projects which are halfway through, but the sincerity that has been shown in implementing these projects, I think that is what has appealed to the people. His personal integrity in terms of running the country, or the security situation, the way he has handled. All these are plus points for Mr. Narendra Modi, which is the reason why there is so much of backing for him. And looking at this campaign today, look at the way people have come out, and it's a festival. The whole of Varanasi seems to be on the road, so he just doesn't have to do any more campaigning. This one day's campaigning is enough for the entire city to come out and be part of it. But from the security point of view, I think it must be a real nightmare for the security people. Looking at the kind of situation that we have in our own neighborhood, what happened in Sri Lanka just a few days ago, it's not a good scene. I mean, Mr. Narendra Modi also faces a threat to his life. But to be able to carry out this kind of a roadshow, it's amazing. It's amazing.
R.K. Upadhyay, senior journalist, being with us here on this broadcast here on WION World is One, as we are bringing to you continuing coverage of the grand Indian elections. And today, the Prime Minister of the country is on a roadshow in his constituency, from where he will be fighting this election, the Varanasi constituency of the state of Uttar Pradesh, the crucial state of Uttar Pradesh, which sends the maximum number of members to the parliament. And that's why, Mr. R.K. Upadhyay, you've been talking about how this roadshow in Varanasi will have reverberations being felt through the rest of Uttar Pradesh as well.
Exactly. I mean, not only Uttar Pradesh, I think across the country it will have an impact because the kind of backing that he has. Uttar Pradesh is very crucial because out of 80 seats, if BJP is down by about 30, 35 seats, they have to make up elsewhere. And they are looking at West Bengal, Odisha, or Andhra Pradesh, or Tamil Nadu. These are the places where they can make up, these numbers. West Bengal is one area where they're looking at something like 10 to 12 seats, where they had just, 2 seats last time. Or Odisha, they had just 1 seat. And Odisha is, prime for picking. So, or Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is a whole a new game now with Karunanidhi and Jayalalitha not being there. So 39 seats, the third largest number of seats in the country. So, whatever losses that the BJP is going to suffer in Uttar Pradesh is going to be made up, or at least that is the plan of the BJP, to make up in these states. So this kind of a message that is going across the country, will definitely help the BJP, saying that, look, Mr. Narendra Modi is a very popular figure across the country and you need to back him. So this message will definitely help him, and this is not good news for his opponents. You can't expect Mamata Banerjee or Mayawati to get this kind of a coverage. Even if they hold a roadshow, I don't know whether they will have this kind of an impact. So that is the kind of image that the Prime Minister has built, and over the last 5 years that he has become the darling of the country. Even in a place like Karnataka, where they had won only 17 seats last time, and just about 2-3 months ago, we were looking at the kind of alliance that the Congress and JDS had come up with, and it looked like that they might end up with single figures. But now the situation has changed in the last couple of months, and it looks like they may retain whatever they had. And it's a big, comeback from what the situation was. So in every state, they're trying to make an impact so that they are able to get a majority on their own. They got 282 seats last time, and they would like to reach that figure on their own so that they don't have to depend on their allies. Of course, the NDA is projected to come back to power, and they may have new allies in Chandrasekhar Rao of the TRS, or Ashok in Telangana. So all these people, all these people are likely to join the NDA, but they would like to form the government on their own, and these people will be just add-ons. So that is what the BJP strategy is, and that is what they're working at.
Live visuals coming to you from Varanasi in the northern Indian state of Uttar Pradesh, where Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi is holding a massive road show, a 7-kilometer long road show, of which live visuals are coming to you. The road show receiving a rousing response from the people of Varanasi. This is a constituency from where Prime Minister Modi fought the last general elections of 2014 and managed to secure over 56% of the votes. And he bettered Arvind Kejriwal of the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress Party in the last elections by a huge margin. And from the kind of response that his roadshow is getting at this point in time in Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh, there is every single likelihood that he could be doing a repeat performance. Mr. R.K. Upadhyay, would you wager your guess on that? Will he be able to gather the same percentage of votes as last time?
You see, it was just about 6 months ago this Gathbandhan was formed, and that was the time when everybody thought that if all the opposition parties get together, they will be able to give a massive blow to the BJP. Because last time BJP won by 31% of the votes. They got just 31% of the votes, but they secured 282 seats in the parliament. So all the political parties, the opposition parties wanted to come together so that, they field a common candidate against the BJP. That was at least the, plan. But as you mentioned about Kejriwal, I mean, he's been, talking to Congress for such a long time that let's have an understanding both in Delhi and Haryana and possibly even Punjab. But Congress has been just adamant. They said, let's have alliance only in Delhi. You see, if you want to win as many seats as possible, or on the contrary, defeat BJP in as many places as possible, you need to have the alliances. That simply doesn't seem to be happening. And look at Andhra Pradesh, where Chandrababu Naidu was in the forefront of forging this Gathbandhan, but he has just backed out of this alliance. He has not given any seats to Congress in his, in his state. So this has been the story across the country, where initially they all talked about coming together to take on BJP, but they have simply not been able to get their act together. So that is one of the main reasons why BJP is looking resurgent, and they are expecting to get a majority on their own. Otherwise, probably, they would have ended up with 200 or 210 seats, and it would have been a big hole. And they would have had to depend on various other, smaller parties to cobble together an alliance. And that is not the style of Mr. Narendra Modi. He wouldn't have liked it, and probably he would not have been even the Prime Minister, because the allies would decide as to who is going to be the Prime Minister of a ragtag alliance like that, and they would not like a strong man like Narendra Modi. But the situation has changed so much in the last couple of months that it looks like BJP will have enough numbers to ensure that Narendra Modi will be the Prime Minister again.
Right. Even before that, PM Modi will have to fight and win his constituency, Varanasi, for which he is conducting this roadshow in Varanasi, and it stretches over 7 kilometers. There will be a Ganga Aarti at the Dashashwamedh Ghat, and even before the Ganga Aarti, the religious ceremony takes place. PM Modi getting a rousing welcome from the residents of Varanasi. The routes stretching from the Bhu Gate to the Dashashwamedh Ghat. From top union ministers like Nitin Gadkari, Sushma Swaraj and Piyush Goyal to chief ministers of BJP-ruled states are all attending the event. This is a prestige battle for the Prime Minister. And this on a day when the Congress party, despite massive speculations of Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, Congress party President Rahul Gandhi's sister, campaigning extensively, was not nominated to stand from the Varanasi Lok Sabha constituency. Keep in mind, Prime Minister Narendra Modi won over 56% of the votes from Varanasi last elections in the year 2014. And this year is a question of whether he will be able to retain that 56%, or will it go down, or will he be able to make it better? It's a roadshow that has been organized with huge security deployment and arrangements, over 100 welcome points all through the 7-kilometer long route of this roadshow. And as more and more people gather on the alleys of Varanasi, the roadshow taking that much more time to complete its course. As you can see, a huge response to the roadshow of the Prime Minister. Big media contingent too, bringing you these visuals live from Varanasi. R.K. Upadhyay, our senior journalist, continues to be with us on the broadcast. Mr. R.K. Upadhyay, talk us through this. While the Prime Minister is probably confident of winning back Varanasi, what other motives do you think a roadshow like this could have had?
Before getting to the roadshow, I would like to dwell a little bit on the alliances which the opposition failed to do, which the BJP did. They were a little uncertain about getting a majority on their own, and what they did was to go down and, bring the allies back, like they did with Nitish Kumar. JDU was not very confident of going with the BJP, and in fact, the BJP conceded 5 seats which they had won in Bihar. They had won 22. This time they're contesting only 17 seats, and conceded the maximum number of seats to JDU. Or take the case of Shiv Sena. Shiv Sena kept on insulting the BJP throughout the tenure of 5 years, but still they did not leave them, and they went ahead and tied up the alliance with them, and they also given them maximum number of seats. So this is the kind of alliances they did to ensure that they win as many seats as possible. Probably today, if the alliances were to be made, they wouldn't have conceded so many seats because they're looking more confident. But they had to do at that time to ensure that their group was together. And looking at the roadshow today, I'll tell you, this is the kind of, a politician's, happy ground. To be able to get people coming out openly. You see, you talk about the rallies being held, across the country. What happens in the rallies? You have to get the people, in the trucks or lorries or whatever, and you have to pay them 500, 600,000 rupees. You have to look after their food and water and everything. But this is a show of, spontaneous, response of the people. So this is the kind of thing which will probably send, shockwaves across the country to the opposition parties. Look at the kind of, support that the Prime Minister is getting in his own constituency and the images that are going across the country. And this will have an impact, I believe, across the country, because the people will look at this as, once you have people seeing one particular party, getting a maximum number of support, they tend to 2 to 3% of the people tend to go towards it. So this is the kind of a nightmare for the opposition, which BJP has successfully put up the campaign today, and tomorrow is going to be the nomination. I'm sure it's going to be another show of strength where people will come out in large numbers. The BJP will probably have a couple of hours of show before the Prime Minister finally files his nomination. So through these kind of shows, BJP is ensuring that people are coming behind it. So that is an important message coming out of this today's roadshow.
We will continue to bring you live coverage of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's roadshow that stretches over a 7-kilometer long stretch in the streets of Varanasi. Lakhs of people gathering on the streets to show support to the Prime Minister, who won from this very constituency in the last elections by a massive vote margin, securing over 56% of the votes. And there is a clear schedule. This road show will end with the performance of a religious ceremony called Ganga Aarti at the Dashashwamedh Ghat, where this road show will end. It began at the Bhoo Gate and is in process now as we speak, because there are live visuals. It looks like there's a Modi wave that has taken over Varanasi, the temple town, witnessing a mega spectacle as the Prime Minister of the country is back on the streets of his home constituency, so to speak. Despite the Prime Minister being from the western state of Gujarat, Varanasi is where he fought the 2014 elections, which made him the Prime Minister of the country. And Mr. R.K. Upadhyay, our senior journalist who continues to be with the broadcaster, it's interesting, isn't it? PM Modi is sort of being co-opted or adopted by Varanasi.
Definitely. You look at 2014 and 2019. In 2014, he contested from two constituencies. One was Vadodara, that is his own home constituency, and then Varanasi. Why did he pick up two? I think he wanted to send a message across Uttar Pradesh that, here was the leader that he was ready to take on the other opposition parties, and he wanted to spread the message across the largest state in the country. And of course, his home state. That was very important for him to get the backing of his own people. Which was a fantastic, masterstroke that he did, because it helped him to win in 26 out of 26 in Gujarat, and then 25 out of 25 in Rajasthan, 27 of 29 in Madhya Pradesh, as the capacity to attract people across the country. So if Uttar Pradesh could adopt it so immediately, that it showed that he was ready for that. And today, after 5 years, the amount of work that he has done is for constituency. Naturally, people are indebted to him, and they would like to pay back. And also, they want more. They want more, because the work is not complete. It's not finished. The city itself is still in a bad state, because the very, very narrow lanes are there, and still remains very dusty, and the Ganga cleaning has not happened. Of course, to a large extent, the ghats are cleaned up, but the Ganga cleaning is really not happened, because the recent reports say that the quality of water still remains very bad, still not potable. So there is a lot of work to be done in Uttar Pradesh, and they would like the Prime Minister to continue the good work that it's done in the last 5 years, and they're entitled to do that. And here is a man saying that, look, you elect me again, and I will do what I can do.
He will do what he can do, and that's exactly what he is doing at this point in time. Prime Minister Narendra Modi basking in all the attention that the people of Varanasi have showered upon him as he conducts his roadshow ahead of filing his nomination from the Lok Sabha constituency seat tomorrow. Keep in mind, the nomination will be filed tomorrow. Today is just the roadshow that stretches over 7 kilometers long with over 100 welcome points, and that will eventually culminate with a Ganga Aarti, a religious ceremony at the Dashashwamedh Ghat, where the roadshow will eventually end. Keep in mind, small drones have been deployed as part of the security cover for the Prime Minister. As you can see, security personnel, 3 or 4 of them, right next to PM Modi. It's not the easiest of jobs for them, because the number of people gathering on the streets is only increasing, and the roadshow has to go on. Prime Minister Modi's cavalcade inching its way through the crowds as chants of Modi, Modi ring through the alleys of Varanasi. Top union ministers of the central government and state chief ministers of BJP-ruled states are all attending this, because this time it's personal. It's the Prime Minister's own constituency that he must win back. Keep in mind, Varanasi is a small temple town known more for its ancient cultural heritage, and today it has turned into a ground for spectacle to be staged by the Bharatiya Janata Party, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. R.K. Upadhyay, senior journalist, continues to be with us on the broadcast. R.K. Upadhyay, I was just noticing the heavy deployment of security even on the convoy in which the Prime Minister is standing as he's waving to the people. So many security personnel must clearly not be a very easy job for them as the crowds continue to rise.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's not easy to manage a security situation where lakhs of people are around. And the cavalcade goes for about 7 kilometers. How do you manage it? And you have, buildings across the road, and there are so many people. It is impossible to give any foolproof security for the Prime Minister or anybody for that matter. And I think there should be prayer on the lips of everybody to ensure that there is nothing untoward happens. But to arrange this kind of thing, I'm sure the security people must have done rounds of this for last 1 week or 10 days, and gone to every area where the security threat is possible. Security threat is there, and they would have neutralized that. They would have ensured that their own people are put up there, and it's a very, very difficult job for the security personnel. And, they can't speak about this. They just have to silently do it. And they have to get the help of the state administration to do it. Fortunately, there is a BJP government in Uttar Pradesh, and they would have worked with the state police as well, and quietly ensured that their own personnel are there in vantage points so that the security is as good as possible. But then you can't make it foolproof. It's just not possible. But hopefully, this is a kind of a festival where people do participate and they all enjoy this. Because, it's part of the election festival. So naturally people come out in the open and, let's hope that, it all goes on well. And one more point I want to make was, how would the opposition parties look at this rally which the Prime Minister has held? Are they going to complain to the Election Commission saying that this is against the Model Code of Conduct? He has had 3 hours of non-stop coverage. And are they going to say that, the Prime Minister is not entitled for so much of space on television, so much of coverage? How are they going to, tackle it? I'm sure all the, Congress spokespersons or spokespersons of the other political parties are, itching to say something about this rally.
Right. R.K. Upadhyay, senior journalist, joining us on this broadcast even as we continue to bring you live pictures of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's mega roadshow in Varanasi. We have also Mr. K.S. Dakshinamurthy, senior journalist, joining us from Bengaluru. Mr. Dakshinamurthy, thank you so much for being with us on the broadcast. What do you make of this roadshow? It's been a rousing reception from the moment it began.
Well, it's not at all surprising, that the Prime Minister in his own constituency is getting this kind of a reception, because there is no reason why he shouldn't be getting this kind of a reception. And being the, key figure, or the face of the BJP in the elections and, the Prime Minister candidate, obviously he has to make a point. And then the BJP cannot afford to not to have this kind of a rousing welcome or a rousing roadshow, because if he can't do it in his own constituency, then obviously, there will be doubts whether he can do it in the rest of the country. So it's, it's entirely in their favor to have a huge rally like this. I mean, not at all. So it's not surprising at all.
Right, it's not surprising at all, but what do you make of his chances this time around? Last time he had a vote share percentage of over 56%. This time around, in a sense, he has the same rivals in the Congress. But how do you see him faring?
I mean, see, as of now, from all the reports that one has got from Varanasi, there does not seem to be any big negative factor for him. There was a speculation that Priyanka Gandhi would be named to contest. So if that had happened, it could have, given rise to some kind of an excitement. Whether it would translate into a victory or a defeat is a different issue. But the contest itself would have become far more exciting and interesting for all the.
But would you say she genuinely stood a chance? Do you think the Congress has been wise in choosing not to field her against PM Modi?
Well, sometimes in elections, the elections by nature are unpredictable. And in the past there have been absolutely shocking results. So, I personally would never put anything past in an election, and then we've also seen that crowds necessarily do not translate into votes. So there are, these issues, and, if you look at India's electoral past, there have been so many cases of shocks and surprises. So, but then as it stands today, the Congress has, in a sense, given up by, not having Priyanka Gandhi in the fight. So, if Priyanka Gandhi had contested, not that it would have made a big difference, but definitely it would have made some kind of a exciting contest. No, definitely, no doubt about it.
Right, K.S. Dakshinamurthy, senior journalist, joining us live from Bengaluru as we continue to bring you live pictures of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's roadshow. And Dakshinamurthy, I was actually talking about it with other people as well. You look at the timing of it all. He had that freewheeling interview with Bollywood star Akshay Kumar yesterday, and today is this road show, and tomorrow is the filing of the nomination.
Yes, so, it's very carefully choreographed, to ensure maximum publicity. And also, he's, the BJP think tank. And I would, when you say BJP think tank, it's probably Modi and his, close associate Amit Shah. So they're probably managing this in a way which keeps him on top of the news. So, for instance, the Bollywood star, interviewing and attracted a lot of attention. There was also a lot of memes, and there was on social media a lot of kind of sarcastic kind of responses to that, because the fact is that he asked very nice questions basically. So but then one cannot this cannot hide from the fact that if Mr. Modi goes through the elections and the counting happens and the next government is sworn in, he would be the first Prime Minister not to have had a normal press conference, which all Prime Ministers used to have, where you need to answer questions spontaneously. So that still is a shadow. As a journalist, who's been covering politics for many years, this is a huge gap in his CV. Let's put it that way.
Right, and how would you also see this entire roadshow, impacting the elections per se? If this is part of a well choreographed public relations exercise, but this is clearly not just about Varanasi or Uttar Pradesh.
Yes, the BJP would very much wish that there was a wave like what we saw in 2014. Now, these are attempts to kind of arouse interest in the voters and kind of push the electorate into some kind of a favorable mood towards the BJP and Prime Minister Modi. So because we saw, and there is always this lingering fear or doubt because of what happened in the 3 assembly elections in November. So that element of unpredictability is there, and the BJP would really want to kind of at least push the mood into some kind of a wave, so because that will be hugely advantageous. And then these are really the meat of the elections as far as the BJP is concerned, because it's a Hindi heartland, and it's very, very crucial even in terms of seats and in every which way. So it's probably for the BJP the most important part of the elections.
K.S. Dakshinamurthy, senior journalist, joining us live on this broadcast from Bengaluru as we bring to you pictures of a Modi wave taking over Varanasi. And as Dakshinamurthy, the senior journalist, has been telling us, it's quite expected. This is the constituency from which he won the 2013 general election with a massive vote share, and he is expected to win this time around as well. Hopes of a clash with the Congress party president Rahul Gandhi's sister Priyanka Gandhi Vadra were dashed when the Congress party today chose not to field Priyanka Gandhi Vadra from Varanasi, disappointing many who were expecting the prospects of a juicy contest between PM Modi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. And Dakshinamurthy, I have to ask you this. Varanasi will vote on the 19th of May in the last phase of elections, but this roadshow and because this will continue, this media blitzkrieg will continue tomorrow as well when he goes to file his nomination.
Well, definitely, because it's, today is the kind of a building up of the mood, and then they're not going to let go of this so easily. So tomorrow's nomination probably will have even a bigger crowd, than today. And then it's going to be celebration and a kind of a joyous mood for the next maybe 2-3 days. And then hopefully this will, the BJP would probably hope that this will create ripples across not only just the state but across the whole region. And, bring about some kind of an excitement and, wash away, any negativity, even if, that exists.
Modi chants echoing in Varanasi as the roadshow continues along its designated route. It's an over 7-kilometer long stretch with over 100 welcome points. This entire roadshow is being monitored by drones, apart from a heavy deployment of security personnel as well. Crowds continue to throng this roadshow, and the crowd is only swelling further. Small drones, as I've been telling you, has been deployed to keep an eye on the activities over here. Top union ministers The chief ministers of BJP-ruled states are all here to witness this mega spectacle in the temple town of Varanasi. Varanasi, a symbol of Indian cultural heritage, is also now a political symbol, isn't it, Mr. K.S. Dakshinamurthy? Varanasi is a political symbol as far as Indian politics goes, and this is a quest to sort of establish Modi's stamp on it.
Well, Varanasi is probably the holiest of Indian cities, and its importance in the religious pyramid cannot be undermined at all. So in many ways, in fact, even in 2014, when the BJP asked Mr. Modi, or Modi chose to contest from Varanasi, the intention was very clear, because it also very much falls in the within the BJP's Hindutva ideology, and their attempt to make Hindu first kind of a politics. So Varanasi is probably logically the best destination, in a sense. And then having Mr. Modi contest from there, really shows that the BJP wants the right kind of signals to go across its, across to all its supporters and to everybody in India, that they mean business. And then, one can also look at the manifesto, for instance, which really talks about, say, their very, core issues, like the, construction of the Ram Temple, or, the Kashmir's Article 370. And, so these are issues that, all of them kind of gel together. So it's a very well thought out strategy of the BJP to, make a point in more ways than one.
Right, and do you see this, sort of pushing BJP further ahead when it comes to its overall tally, its ability to cobble together an overall tally with which it can form a government?
See, elections, when elections happen, many people would have already made up their mind whom to vote for. But, for instance, the elections that happened, let's say in Karnataka or in many other places, there is a chance for a last-minute kind of a change that can happen. And we have seen that Modi's oratory, has been seen to be a kind of a changer. It is though nobody can really quantify that on the ground, because you can't have these kind of figures. There is a general perception that when the Prime Minister goes to a constituency and speaks, that there can be a kind of a change in the mood of the people, and people who have already decided one way can shift to the other side. But these are all seriously speculative, and whether this roadshow can have an influence across the North Indian states and over a period of time until May 19th. I wouldn't really bet on it 100%.
Wouldn't bet on 100%, says K.S. Dakshinamurthy, senior journalist, joining us live on this broadcast from Bengaluru. Even as we continue to bring you, the viewer, live visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's roadshow in the temple town of Varanasi, where, as you can see, the Prime Minister's convoy is only able to inch through the milling crowds gathering in lakhs to wish the Prime Minister. Keep in mind, this is not the filing of his nomination as yet. The Prime Minister will be filing his nomination only tomorrow. Today is just the road show, which began from the Bhu Gate and will eventually end at the Dashashwamedh Ghat, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be performing a religious ceremony called the Ganga Aarti. Chants of Bharat Mata Ki Jai also ringing loud and clear in Varanasi. As we've been telling you, all top union ministers of the central government, Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj, Roads and Transportation Minister Nitin Gadkari, Mr. Piyush Goyal, all of them present for this, along with BJP National President Amit Shah. apart from chief ministers of BJP-ruled states who are also attending this mega roadshow. And this roadshow was scheduled on a day in which the Congress party, the principal opposition party, was supposed to name its candidate as well for the Varanasi seat. And it was speculated that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, sister of Congress party President Rahul Gandhi, would be fielded, but Congress party putting those speculations to rest, choosing not to field Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. And this roadshow coming just a day after Prime Minister Modi's much publicized interview to Bollywood film star Akshay Kumar. The Congress party today named Ajay Rai as its candidate for the Varanasi seat. He will be fighting against Prime Minister Modi. Keep in mind, Ajay Rai came third in the 2014 general election, where Prime Minister Modi had a vote share of over 56%. He won the Varanasi seat with a thumping, overwhelming majority. He was succeeded in the second spot by Arvind Kejriwal of the Aam Aadmi Party, and then at number 3 by Ajay Rai. And Congress again choosing to field Ajay Rai instead of introducing Priyanka Gandhi Vadra in Varanasi, despite the fact that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is the head of Eastern UP, under which Varanasi comes. We're bringing to you visuals from all possible angles, all possible cameras that are stationed all along the route of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's roadshow. It's a small town where almost every single member has come out of their houses to witness this roadshow. And if I can quickly ask Mr. K.S. Dakshinamurthy, you continues to be with us on the broadcast. Mr. Dakshinamurthy, we're seeing PM Modi now take a drink of water as well. It's a hot day in Varanasi, and a roadshow like this is just plain exhausting. But what it would have done by the end of it is make the BJP that much more confident.
Definitely, because it's, Varanasi, I would say, is something like a steroid, since half the elections are over, the southern states, all the elections are over in the southern states. And, we are in the middle of this long drawn 7-phase election. So it can be pretty rigorous, like you say, it requires tons and tons of energy to really go ahead and, be fresh. And be able to, face the people and, constantly on the road, the sun, the summer. So it's, and then at a symbolic level, it does it's a shot of steroid, I would put it that way. Varanasi is probably kind of a steroid which they need to carry forward for the next remaining phase of the elections.
Mr. K.S. Dakshinamurthy, senior journalist, joining us live on this broadcast as we continue to bring you live visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's roadshow, which has taken over the temple town of Varanasi, which is witness to a mega spectacle. The roadshow beginning at Bhoo Gate and intended to culminate at the Dashashwamedh Ghat, an over 7-kilometer long stretch. The BJP workers on the ground in Varanasi lining up the streets as well, along with thousands and thousands of the locals who are continuing to crowd the streets, barely allowing the Prime Minister's convoy to pass through. Chants of Modi, Modi and chants of Bharat Mata Ki Jai ringing loud in Varanasi. And we will continue our coverage. It's an important day in the entire scheme of things. Keep in mind, Varanasi goes to elections in the last phase of the Indian elections on the 19th of May. And this roadshow is being held just a day before the nomination is filed by the Prime Minister. Tomorrow will be the day when the Prime Minister will be filing his nomination to fight from the Varanasi seat. Rose petals being showered from the balconies of houses on the roadshow and on the Prime Minister. And keep in mind, this roadshow will end with the Prime Minister performing a religious ceremony called the Ganga Aarti at the Dashashwamedh Ghat. Clearly, the people of Varanasi are extremely happy to see the Prime Minister come back to their town. And we will be continuing our coverage of the Prime Minister.